if I could go back and do it all over again, because I did some dumb shit.
You have a way of making very believable characters in very big situations. And I think a lot of the heart in this is with your son in the
Yeah,
film. What was it like working with him? Because there's a true sense of father-son here.
yeah. It was great. We we really so Jack and I we bonded over like the dumbest stuff. But we really, I don't know, we really, we really did. And I don't mean to say dumb, but well, it was a long, casting process with Jack. We were very selective about, going through this whole process. And I saw Jack and I saw his audition. I was somewhat familiar with his career. And then I had a conversation with him. And I thought, because we were looking, like, I really wanted this to be a franchise. And I
Yeah.
was really hoping, and Jack, I knew that the character of Cody would need to be able to carry this franchise if it was, to turn into a franchise. I knew he'd have to carry it. And after talking to Jack, and I knew that this guy, he's just got his head on straight.
Mm.
And I also, he just has that kind of it factor, and the kid's going to be a star.
Oh yeah.
But also, he's like super talented as well. But what we bonded over was like martial arts and jujitsu. He had recently kind of started training, and he wanted to train with me. And so I was like, great. So I got there, and before we started filming, we went and just started training together. And it's like you really, you just bond with people when you're working out together, especially if
Oh,
you're like punching stuff together.
oh yeah, that's fantastic.
And so we trained together, and it happened very organically. But we got, had conversations, and we're kind of from the same, neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Um, we, kind of realized that we're both kind of raised by like single moms. So we just we had a lot to talk about just organically. So before we even started filming together, we were kind of already really, really comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And also, I thought I never really had this type of relationship with another actor, but Jack was, it's kind of, he's newer to the business.
Yeah.
And I've been around for a minute. And I shared a lot of my experiences with him. And he made me kind of feel like a mentor, which made me feel kind of good, because I never really been, kind of put in that spot before. And I really kind of enjoyed sharing experiences with him and my insight on this business and, how the machine works. And because it's a complicated business, and sometimes it can be a very hard business, especially when you get into, working with a lot of different personalities, and you're working long days, and people are getting tired and people are getting hungry. So it can be challenging. And so having those conversations on how to kind of balance all that and, be true to yourself, and kind of, it was nice. I felt like, I don't know, we just had I don't know, we just kind of bonded over that stuff. And it felt like we did have that, father-son type relationship, or that kind of dialogue going on organically, without even
Mhm.
trying. And so, yeah, definitely it was, but I was right about him. He's the guy. Like, one day he's going to be the guy. He's has the star quality, and he just has that kind of Robert Redford type of quality, and you can see that he carries himself a certain way, and he treats people a certain way, and he's a very dignified person, a very dignified young actor. And I think he has the talent to back all that up, and I think he's got a massive career. It's just hard with young actors because they can get sucked in, down that drain really fast. But he's really smart in the way he's living his life as well, because he's not putting himself, not surrounding himself by, a bunch of people who are just looking to be famous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you hit a great point is that a lot of young talent comes up. They don't have kind of the guidelines to know, okay, this is proper behavior. This is not. And
Right.
you have this fame thrust upon you. It can be
It's
horrifying.
hard. It's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Even, when I had my first taste of fame when I was in my 30s with wrestling, you know, if I could go back and do it all over again, because I did some dumb shit, you know. And so same with him, because he's young and he's impressionable. And a
Yeah.
lot of times if you're around a lot of young actors, because not every actor, especially young actor, they're not all in it for the acting.
Yeah.
Some of them they want the fast life, they want the fame, they want the spotlight.
Yeah.
it's for me personally, I just think that's the wrong way to look at this business if you plan on having longevity. You're going to burn out that way. And so you have to carry a certain sense of professionalism because people remember, and this business becomes small very fast. You're going to
Yeah.
start working with the same people again and again. And if you make a bad impression on them, they're not going to forget. This business can be unforgiving. So you
Yeah.
have to be, you be a leading man on screen, but you also be a leading man on set. Carry yourself
Ooh,
in a certain way, and be good to people.
Dave,
I
that was
learned this.
beautiful put.
Oh, thank you. Well, I learned this early in my wrestling career. There was a wrestler who I trained with named Afa, the Wild Samoan.
Yeah.
He said to me, and I'll never forget it. He said, "Be nice to people on your way up, because those are the same people you're going to see on your way down."
Yeah. No, it's true.
Never
100.
forget.
Wow, that's great advice. Now, I'm going to jump in too because you also not only do you have this great chemistry with Jack, but Bobby. It's it's just fun watching you guys.
Yeah.
What was that? You knew him before, I believe, right?
No, I'd never met him. This was the first time
Oh,
I met him, and I was excited as hell. Because for one, when his name came up, I didn't think we were going to be able to get him.
yeah.
I thought this is a long shot. But he signed on. I think he saw enough in the project, and I think he wanted to work with me, which excited the hell out of me because I'm a huge fan. So I think right off the right off the bat, where I kind of got my fanboy out of the way, because I just had to fanboy a little bit, because he's done some stuff. He did this, character, and I don't know if you ever watched Boardwalk Empire,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he pulled off this character that was just not an easy character to play, and he did it so great. I thought it was really challenging, and the way he did it was like it was incredible. I mean, so anyway, I picked his brain about that and his process, and then some stage work and stuff, and kind of got all that. And then I realized that he's just like a super chill dude, like this guy. And I think Bobby could act with anybody because he just doesn't have an ego. He's just kind of, he's there. He just kind of sinks into his own kind of energy. It's just, he's just so, I don't know, there's something really special about that guy. He's got like that movie star quality, and just, the lack of ego just makes him very, very easy to work with, because when he's, and I've heard that, I've been told that about myself. I don't have an ego, especially when we're in a set. And that, because when people do, and I've worked with people that do, and it's almost like they become competitive. And when you become competitive, you start clashing, your energy start clashing, and it never leads to something good on film. You can see when people don't really have chemistry on film, but I
Yeah.
think with people who are just can set their egos aside and they just don't have it, don't need it, and they're just very confident in themselves and their careers and their personalities, you can just sit down and just shoot the shit with people like that,
Yeah.
and it translates onto film. And those are the kind of people I want to work with. And Bobby, I didn't know anything about him, other than he was married to Rose, who I'd met kind of in passing, who was also a fan. But I
Yeah.
didn't know much about him. But looking at him, he's just so goddamn good looking with that thick, full head hair, and so charming and so talented. I thought he'd be the kind of guy who was just kind of walking around and having conversations with charming people to death. But then I learned that he's just not. He's just like super chill. When we weren't filming, most of the time he was just sitting by himself, FaceTiming Rose, reading a book, enjoying the weather. Just
Yeah.
very, just a low key dude, and I love that, because I'd rather I'm that way, and I'd rather work with people that way because I know we're on the same page, and I know why he's there, and he knows why I'm there, and so I want to work with people like that. We're not competing. We're on the same page. We're trying to make a good film. We're trying to have good scenes. We're not competing with each other.
Yeah.
We want to work together and to make the best product.
I've always found that kind of weird when someone goes into a project with the idea of, oh yeah, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be this because if you're going for that, it ain't going to be the best, period.
Yeah, and I've worked with people with that energy, but I think the reason I can work with people with that energy is because I don't have that energy.
Yeah.
So I'm not there to compete with them, and a lot of times I think this is also why I have, I'm a good straight man in comedies because I do have that type of energy. I like bouncing off of people. So whatever their energy is, I'm going to work with it. I'm going to bounce off that energy. I'm not going to have a conflicting energy, where we're just clashing with each other.
Yeah.
Bring your energy, and I'll work with that, with whatever you got. And I think for the most part, you're going to find the most successful people in this business are those type of people. At least if the most people successful and have longevity in this business. You know.
I would say. The thing about you too is I've seen you do comedy. You do comedy marvelously. You have such great timing. You have this, but you also take a role like this, which is so low key and so realistic. I was watching it. I'm like, this is a guy that really does this.
Yeah.
That's not easy for a lot of actors.
Right. Well, and the thing is that because it was always my intention that I always looked at this as I wanted this to be a franchise. I'm really hoping that this will be a franchise. And so this is why, again, going into the casting of Jack, we're very particular because I knew going forward that Jack would have to carry this franchise.
Yeah.
And so looking at that, I always wanted I wanted the kids to be the stars of this film. I wanted the parents to be a backdrop. So it wasn't really all about me. So I'm very, it's a very subtle role. I want to play the loving father. I want to be like the overbearing action hero in this film. But yeah, I love it. I'm super proud of what we did, especially because this is the first film where I was just from like A to Z produced on this film, like from the
Nice.
inception of the idea up to the day we picture wrapped. So yeah, pretty proud of that. Even like through the editing process and everything. And this is it. This was my first time being like a full-fledged producer on a film. I've always kind of contributed here and there, but this was the first time like from A to Z. Like I'm very proud of that.
Why did you know this was a project to take that on?
Because well, it's not like this didn't come to me packaged. This came to me through a buddy of mine who worked in law enforcement, and he had this idea. He said, "Hey man, I got this idea for a movie," and it was about some DEA agents, and they were busting drug dealers, and they were put in a house where they were stashing all this stuff. And he said, the kids just they grew up together, and they got this crazy idea that they wanted to rob the stash house where their parents were storing all this cash. And I was like, nah, I don't love that. So I don't like the kids stealing from their parents and stealing from the government. I
Yeah.
said, but what if? So that's how it initially started. And so I had done a film called Final Score with the co-producer of Trap House, his name Mark Goldberg. And so I pitched the idea to him because we were looking for things to do together.
Yeah.
And he loved the idea. So that's kind of how it all started.
Great. Now, I've got to ask you because this is such a you take chances. You're producing now. You're stepping into Highlander. You're stepping into Roadhouse 2. What is it about those, and what can you say about those other projects? Because you've got so much going on.
This was very unexpected because I had finished a film, an independent film called Alpha Gang. And
Yeah.
I did the last couple of years. I've been doing a lot of action films, and I did a film called Last Showgirl, and it came out this year, and I just done Alpha Gang, and I thought I just want to focus on this. I just want to focus on dramatic roles, and so I had recently just moved out to California. I'd been out in California like 2 weeks in August. I think no, late July I went out, and I thought I was going to be there, and then my plan was to kind of source out more of these type roles, these projects, go through scripts, meet with people, and find more kind of independent, dramatically driven roles. And then kind of out of nowhere, Roadhouse and Highlander. And I'd been tracking Highlander for years. I've always wanted this role. I saw Chad. He came to premiere of one of the films I did, and I knew that he was directing it and making the film, and I talked to him about it, and he expressed zero interest in me as a Kurgan. So I thought it's never going to happen. But after this came like out of nowhere, and he called me and he said, what do you think? What are you doing? I want to send you the script. Would you be interested? I was like, dude, I'd be interested because I straight up told you that I was interested. And so he sent it to me and said, let me know what you think. And I called him back the next day. I said, I love it. I love this. He said, okay, well, the role's yours. And I said, out of nowhere. So anyway, while that conversation was going on, my agents told me that, we're working out the Highlander deal, but we're also working out the Roadhouse deal because they're both in London. They're both under Amazon. We're going to be able to get this done. You're going to be able to do both films at the same time.
God.
So it was like really, really unexpected. And it happened so fast. I started training like the day after Chad offered me the role before everything was signed. I started training in California. As soon as the contracts were signed, there was like, pack your bags, you're going to London. So I've been in London for like, since late August, training for the film. We had to put for Highlander. And we started filming Roadhouse already. Highlander got pushed a little bit because Henry got hurt. But we start
Okay.
filming November 28th. And so
Okay.
Henry's up and running. Henry's a beast.
He's
Henry,
badass.
he is a beast, man. I have so much respect for this guy
Nice.
because we started like kind of working together before we started filming. It was before he got injured, and watching this guy's hustle, like watching his grind, is impressive. Like he's the real deal. He's a good human being. Like he treats people really good. He's like a real gentleman, but like a legit badass. You know.
I love hearing that.
I was impressed. I didn't know what to expect. Only I'd ever seen him on film, but I was super impressed with him. Super impressed. He's
Wow.
like a real gentleman. He like watching guys because this is hard. Like I've been through professional wrestling for on and off for 20 years, and with the training that they're doing on Highlander for this film is it's hard. Like daily I'm beat up. It's a grind.
Oh my God. And well, no one does it better than Chad. That guy's,
It's and he makes you earn it.
yeah. I
he, he
can imagine.
really he makes you earn it, man. Yeah.
Well, I believe we've gone. I don't know if we've gone over time. I got a couple minute warning a couple minutes ago. I don't know if we're done, but oh yes, yeah. Please wrap. Dave, love talking to you. Danica, hi out there. You're awesome, man. It's
Thank you, man.
great performance, and I can't wait for everything else, dude.
It was great seeing you. I wish I could see the rest of that house.
I know, right? Well, Chad and I sell here. It's fun. We have great.
It's awesome.
Find out who it was and make an example out of him.
I know what's going on.
Stand down! Curry!
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joe Blow was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.